Heck, I'm fishing on credit. Huh? Yeah, we're fishing on credit. Yeah, I run off. Didn't have a check in the. Had one check to pay Chandler for his hard work, and I owed Brad some money, and dadgum just had one check in the checking book, and I said, well, I'll just have to bring you one next week or tomorrow. I mean, drop it off tomorrow. So we're fishing on credit tonight, and think think they'll let us go for one day. They talked like they would. We had to do a lot of pleading. Yeah, they said it'd be fine. I said, okay. So it's good to be trusted, I tell you, it really is. But anyway, okay, so the score's 20. What's the score of the ball game? 20-something to
I don't know.
nothing? Well, you'd think sure he'd call in over here and tell me.
24 or something, I think.
Yeah, she's probably been watching the ball game instead of watching us. Yeah. I'll fix that when I get home.
Yeah,
Huh? What do you think, Chandler? What's the score of the ball game?
26-0, I think.
26-0.
Master,
Yeah, he's got it figured out. Oh, yeah, he needs my camera and cord here. I'm going to try to get your dad to fix that camera tonight. It just keeps going off. I can't get it. After you touch it or move it or something, it starts ringing off about every minute and a half. All righty, we're going to get into this thing here, Mike, and figure out what we can do. Folks, do remember our sponsors, Reynolds Racing Marine, IUOE. Can't thank our Union Brothers for keeping us going here, and Tim's Tires, Edgemore Outdoors. Can't say enough about them. Did you go over there the other day?
No, I didn't get to make it.
You didn't get to make it. Well, I figured you was holding out on me.
Last week I was over there.
Yeah, I figured you was holding out on me and didn't want to show me or tell me what you bought the fish with. So anyway, had a couple of people call me about last week. We had that fishing rod up there, and how to turn it. You let the wrist do the work, and if you're doing that bait caster the right way, you won't have many backlashes.
No.
And I know they got $400, $500, $600, $700 fishing reels that's got chips in them and all this kind of stuff, and they're probably good. But I went over and got me a left-handed wind Corrado that Vance had over there, and I got out in the yard fooling with it. I told you that last week, and I really like it, and like a dummy. I mean, go back there on the back shelf, grab up a spool of 300-yard line, or a spool of line, 300 yards, 320 yard spool. Get over there, wind that reel full of line, and hey, perfect. Take it outside, throw it 4 or 5 times. Oh yeah, man. So I get it out up there at the lake, and the dad blame line I put on it was clear. Wouldn't show up another black light or nothing else, so had to put it back in the front of the boat. So, but I will remedy that tomorrow afternoon after work, because we're going to the lake tomorrow night. Is that right? If it's not raining. Bill's either listening in or he's running through the channels, watching us, when they have a commercial and blah, blah, this, that, and the other. So yeah, we're going fishing. Good Lord willing, Friday night, Saturday night, part of the night, then back on Sunday night after church, and all night if they're biting good, and and rest on Monday. That's kind of the plan, Yep. I mean, we got to figure them son of guns out up there, and I mean, I know they're there, and it's just we got to get the right bait on and figure them suckers out.
Yeah.
So, is that my phone?
Yeah, I have your phone. I ain't got mine with me.
Well, you done the right thing. Okay, see, there's Shuri telling me that the score of the ball game is 24-0. I told you I'd try to keep watching 3 channels at one time. She's trying to watch the Braves, Tennessee, and the fishing show. So good luck on that. What you ought to do is cut the Tennessee and the Braves off till we get done, then, but that she probably won't.
No.
You know, yeah. We like the Braves and try to keep up with them, watch them every opportunity we can, and that kind of thing. So it's all good. Daggone it. Yeah, let me get this over with right here. My garage door, my basement garage door, or basement door, heck, the thing was 30 years old and it was wore out. And I got this guy from out in Morgan County. I got a hold of him a few weeks back, and he wanted me to fill in this, send him a text, some. I said, I don't do that kind of stuff. I said, man, I just have this phone for work and calling home when I need to and that kind of thing. And so I don't have Facebook and all that other stuff. But here's the deal. This guy done a wonderful job. I took off a half a day last Friday. They rolled in down there about 9 o'clock. And at 11:30, I was, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30. In other words, I got to work before 12 o'clock. And that's the quietest door. I guess that other one was so bad I didn't know it was that noisy. No wonder I can't hear anything. I guess 30 years of listening to that basement door roll up and down. But it's the name of the company is All American Garage Doors. And I don't know how I messed up and didn't get their dad blame telephone number. But get on your phone or computer or whatever and type in that All American Garage Doors out there in Morgan County. If you need a garage door, and here was the thing. When I called that guy, I told him I had him come by the house about 4 weeks before, and he came by and he and Wesley let him in, and they looked it all over and this, that, and the other, and then he called me and said, he said, man, said that's an antique you got in there. I said, yeah, I know it, and so anyway, I said, yeah, it's about 30 years old, I guess, or a little older. So anyway, he hum-hollered, he didn't hum-holler around. He just came out and he said, I said, well, what's it going to cost me to get a new door? And he said, 30, let's see, the door was so much and the closer was so much and all that. But anyway, when it's all said and done, turnkey job, finished slick as a whistle, it was $23.25 is what it cost me. I paid him there that morning after he got done, and he left, and I went on to work. But so keep those folks in mind. I really appreciate the work they done. They when they rolled down to my basement door there, they had the rails for the left side on the left side of the truck, the rails for the right side on the right side of the truck. Everything was just bam, 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 and done deal. And it works fine, I'm telling you. It is. I'm really tickled to death and proud of that they fixed it up for me. And so if you're looking for a garage door, now the only thing I'm going to tell you, he'll tell you he had 5 of those. The motors that pull the door up and down.
Closers.
The closers. He had 5 of those and so one of them went on my house. So he's only got 4 more right now, and he don't know when he's going to get any replacements. He said it's just that bad out there on the market, for getting things. So if, like I said, I'll recommend them to anybody, and him and his son, couple hours, 2.5 hours, they had me finished. And they really done a good job. I mean, electrically, everything went just perfect. So I really appreciate those guys for doing that. But that's All American Garage Doors. Give them a call. Like I said, I had a sticker there on the door, had their phone number, and I walked right off and didn't get it. But All American Garage Doors, Morgan County, you can get them without any problem. All righty. Back to our sponsors. Want to thank Edgemore Outdoors, and I've already said that once. But anyway, I hope to get that fishing reel. No hoping about it. I'm going to take that clear line off. I mean, I swung that thing around there in front of the black light there. I said, what's wrong? And I thought, heck, I pulled a dummy here. And I could have swore that spool of line said clear blue fluorescent. And it did. When I got back home, I looked at it. It didn't say nothing about fluorescent. But it was in the same pack as another. I mean, I had 2 packs of the 300-yard spools there, and that one was, it just said, the other had that clear blue fluorescent on it, and this one here just had clear blue. And so I got a spool it, wind it back off, and put me some fluorescent line on that left-handed wind reel, and go from there.
Yep.
All righty. Speaking of fishing, Bill and I went up to the lake. Was it Saturday night? It was, last Saturday night. Yeah. Mike went up on Friday night, and he fished himself out, went by himself, and I don't know what you caught a fish. Or no, you told Bill you never had a bite.
Never had a bite.
I mean, you're
the same thing there on the depth finder. You could see the fish down there, but nothing on the bottom. And then at times you'd run over dang schools of minnows, and they'd be stacked in there from about 30 foot, plumb up 10 foot on the dang thing, and so thick it just about blacked the screen out. There'd be so many minnows. And I fished at least 8 or 9 different places in different types of places as far as deep break-offs and flats and points and humps. And no, couldn't get a bite on none of it. And changed baits. I don't know how many times I changed baits.
Yeah. Well, son of a gun. Chandler, can you take us to the film we got, and then we'll come back and I'll tell Mike how Bill and I how we done. All righty.
Steve's up here on North Lake right again. They say it's tough. We're gonna unsolve that tonight.
Yeah, boy, we got to figure that out, Bill.
Yes, sir, Rio, buddy.
Well, now, Bill, what was it about your Tennessee shirt?
Oh yeah, my Tennessee shirt. I get to watch the Tennessee football game Thursday night, and fishing with Steve and Mike on Thursday night too. I get to watch everything.
All right.
Yeah, let's go fishing with Steve and Mike, and Tennessee plays football this coming Thursday night too.
Yeah.
So everything is working out fine for old Billy boy.
All right, Bill. Well, listen, waters went down a little bit. We've been struggling. We've been struggling here the last few trips, and Mike was up here last night, and we hope he'll show back up. Said he didn't get a bite, so we got to figure out something, don't we, Bill?
We got to figure them out here, son.
Yeah, for sure. All right, folks, stay tuned. We hope to get some fish on the hook here in a little bit, and do what we can do to find them out and catch them, Bill.
That's exactly right, son. We just got to figure them out.
All right, buddy. Stay tuned, folks. Remember our sponsors, and let's go fishing, and hopefully we'll be back shortly with the fish on the line, Bill.
Yes, sir, buddy. Yes, sir.
All right.
Out the first in here.
Yeah.
And he was on the bottom, so we know where they at. when they're on the bottom, we know where they're at.
Yeah, that's right,
Yes,
Bill.
sir, but that's a nice little heavy fat fish.
It sure is, buddy. Get him back in the water and let's get going here.
Yes, sir. Put him back over there.
Yeah, there you go.
Got another good little largemouth, buddy.
Yeah, sure
Yeah,
is, Bill.
He's a good heavy little feller, buddy, but he'll grow up to be a crackerjack.
That's right, Bill. Let's get him in the water and get us another one. What do you think?
I'm a farmer.
Yeah, we're done. We're done 2 ahead already.
That's right, old buddy.
That's the way you catch them, Bill. 2 at a time, ain't
That's right. That's what me and old Steve done there, son. And he had one and I had the other.
That's exactly right, buddy.
Yeah,
That's a
buddy.
good deal.
When you catch them 2 at a time, they really add up, Steve.
They do, Bill. They do. Grab that smallmouth out there and let me get your picture with him.
Oh, hell, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
Come here, boy.
Yes, sir.
Come here, son.
Yeah, netted one, then by George, netted Bill's.
Yes.
All
Yeah.
right, Billy boy.
Old Billy boy caught a good smallmouth there.
Sure has, buddy. All right, get him back in. We'll get the largemouth.
Yes, sir. Here we go.
Yeah, buddy.
I like
Oh,
to
yeah.
catch them 2 at a time.
I do too, Bill. I do too. Dadgum, that's the way you
They're smallmouth, but the thing about it is, he's a pretty good size, but he's gonna get bigger. There's the good part about it.
Yeah, that's right, Bill.
Yes, sir.
All right, back in the water with him. We'll
we
try to
go.
get another.
There we go, buddy.
Yeah. All right, we're back. Let's see, Mike. Yeah, the first 2 fish I caught, I had the a watermelon chunk on it. You know, the same size we always fish. Mm-hmm. It was in that trailer and with that watermelon jig. Well, so the second fish I caught, the son of a gun shook my dang trailer off. Well, I got one of them watermelon big pinchered crawdads and put behind it, and that's what I caught the other 2 fish on, was that. And the bad thing about it is we had, I don't know, 5 or 7, 8 more bites that we should have had fish in the boat, and we didn't get them.
Yeah.
The last point we fished was right there above Dollar Island, where and some gun, I didn't have 3 fish on right there on that one point.
Yeah.
And lost all 3 of them. So, it looks like I'm going to have to figure out how to I'm going to put a dang trailer hook on that daggum bait, looks like. And I know it'll fit right on there once you...
You may have done like you done last time, didn't have a barb on the hook.
No, I had a barb on the hook. It was good. I checked it. And that's something, Mike, you brought up a good point. When you go out here and buy a box of hooks that's, I don't know, that's got 400 or 500 or 1,000 hooks in a box, 2-aught, 3-aught, whatever. How would you... you're fumbling through them hooks, pouring lead heads on them and everything, and so what? You get a couple out of that 2,000 hooks that don't have a barb on them.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, you tie the thing on, you not paying a whole lot of attention to what it looks like, and you're out there throwing the son of a gun and just missing fish after fish. Gosh dang, another one got off and another one got off. What is wrong? So you finally get your bait up there and look at it and say, well, heck, it ain't got no barb on it. Yeah. So what do? You cut that thing off and throw it just as far out there in the lake as you can throw it.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about ever making that mistake again.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the way it happens.
Yep.
Sure is.
I know that buddy of ours that we used to grow up with there and everything, we stopped up there at Clinton. And this is, I don't know, I guess we was a junior, senior in high school or something,
Yeah.
headed up there, stopped up there, and he bought a T-bass bait. And got up there, and it was every throw he was hung up. And we moved to another spot, and it was time and time again, he'd throw out there and hung up, and we'd have to go get it loose. Finally got there. It's before the black lights and all that stuff come out, you know. Finally took the flashlight and shined it on that dang spinnerbait he had, and the hook was turned down.
Yeah.
It turned up and it hit the bottom,
Yeah,
hang
it's
up
hung.
every time.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm hung again.
Yeah, he said, "You think I could twist it around?" I said, "No, I don't think you can twist it around. Not that big stainless steel hook." Yeah, so you'd get him another spinnerbait. That back then, heck, we didn't have but one or two spinnerbaits.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fact, Mike. You're right about that. But anyway, shoot, you know, you so every now and then you get a bad hook.
You do, and a dull hook, you know,
Yeah.
you need to check the sharpness of it and check the barb and everything there.
Yep.
So it's good shape.
I'll tell you the hardest thing right now is dang getting the split rings and dad blame ball bearing swivels
Yeah.
matched up to the right size. You either split rings too big for the ball bearing swivel, or the ball bearing swivel's too big for the split ring. One of the two.
Yeah.
And they're just not. It's hard to find the matching size, so that you can put it on a spinner bait and put you one of them a 4.5 or number 5 blade, and even a number 6 blade on a few of them. And so, you know, as you graduate up, you need a little bigger split ring and a little bigger ball bearing swivel.
I think the last swivels I bought for spinner baits is $100 in the bag, and I give $50 for it. And the split ring was not on the dang swivel.
No, you had
to put it on there.
Yeah,
yourself.
both of them.
Both of them, yeah.
You got your split ring pliers laying there. Next thing you know, you've got split rings shot all over the floor everywhere.
Well, that's
Can't
true,
find them.
but, you know, if
Get
you
the
buy
magnet
them,
out.
buy them already made up, they
Yeah.
were twice as much.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know. That's somebody else had to put them together.
And then they come out with that one that was made in China, Japan, or somewhere over there. And just like the guy said, check it out before you put it on there, because it might be 1 out of 10, or maybe 10 out of 100 that it didn't rotate smooth. It was just had a catch in it or something, you know. And
Lock up.
lock up, yeah.
Yeah. Shoot, I don't know.
It was a lot cheaper though.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because you had to put, like you said, you had to put the things together. I got a pack of them things. A bunch of them are in the pack that laying there too. You know, the ball bearing swivel and the split rings, and you know, you got to put the some guns together.
Oh yeah.
And it's a aggravating thing.
It
you
sure
know.
is.
Yeah.
Sure
But,
is.
anyway, we'll. Our plans are to try to get up there on the lake this weekend, and you know, everybody's going to be on the water if the weather's fitting, you know, warm and sun's out, and so you want to be careful. You know, be respectful of the next person around you, and but keep yourself in the safe and all that good stuff. We'll let you all have it during the day, and we'll take it over overnight. Make sure nobody bothers the water.
Yeah.
We'll just,
Yeah,
you know,
that's right.
yeah, we'll just keep a guard on it, so the next day when you come back, it'll still be there. Might be a few fish shy, but you know, we'll keep eye on it for you during the night. Nobody carried it off.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, Mike, we really do got to get on them fish up there. I mean, I don't
That's true.
understand how
That's
we
true.
go up there and catch 25 or 30 fish, 20, you know, yeah. And then all of a sudden we can't get a bite.
Well, like I say, they're suspended, and they're just following them big schools of minnows around and come up and feed in them and just go back down and just sit there along that thermocline and stuff. And they ain't trying to get on the bottom and hide or try to feed, you know.
Well, now shoot,
feeding for the
them son of a
crawfish.
guns, they're not going. I can't believe that. They're going to eat somewhere.
Well, that's what I say. There's so many minnows there. Why would they go trying to root around on the bottom looking for crawfish when they're just laying there in that comfort zone? Just come up and grab them a mouthful and settle back down, sit there and eat that bunch and come up and get some more. 'Cause they just following them big schools of shad around.
Well, okay, I won't argue that point, but you know and I know, when you get one of them son of guns hooked, I mean, I've had them come up to the boat and just blow out everything in their stomach,
yeah,
and
yeah.
there'd be minnows and crawdad parts
Oh,
and
yeah.
everything else, you know.
They're going to go where the feeding's the easiest.
Well, I won't argue that.
If the
you know.
minnows is all up next to the top or something, then they might be down there in that comfort zone feeding on crawfish or whatever they can find, just hiding, especially when it's bright moonlight or something. They'd be hiding in the shadows there or something, waiting on something to move around or come over them, and they'd reach and get it. So they're lazy.
Yeah, I guess you'd call it that. Something.
Yeah, smart, lazy.
Yeah.
They don't get big by missing that dinner table, I'll tell you that. This time of year, that's when they're putting the food on.
Well, yeah, they ought to be laying on it right now. I agree with you.
Yep.
But I don't know. Like I said, I don't. Even throwing a bait out there on a good place where there's a lot of suspended bait fish, you ought to get before the thing ever hits the bottom. You ought to have one knock the snot out of it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you ought to catch them on the fall. As we call them, you know, hey, that fish hit that bait on the fall, you know. And while you was waiting on it to get to the bottom, be one, and had that happen many a time. But why all of a sudden is it not happening now?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if you're finding all that many bait fish running around, suspended, throw your bait out there and just click the reel in, and when it gets down there where they're at, they ought to be all over it.
It might be.
Yeah. Anyway, what do you got for us there tonight?
Well, Sunday, of course, Saturday night there, they got rained out down there at the race, so I got up Sunday morning there and kind of wondering how you and Bill done, but I wasn't going to wake you up to find out. And anyway, I was flipping through the channels, and they had that Elite Series on TV there, and they was fishing the upper Mississippi up there in Wisconsin. And the guy that was leading it, they was filming him there, and I think the other guy that they was showing there was in second or third place, and both of them was throwing down beside that grass with Carolina rigs. And they was catching one fish right after the other. Of course, up there, the smallmouth especially, that they was catching, 2 pound, maybe a 3 pounder, and that, you know, they wasn't no 5 and 6 pounders. I think maybe a 4 pounder was considered a whopper up there. And yeah, they was throwing that Carolina rig, and I thought I'd show you how I fish a Carolina rig, because years ago when it first started fishing it, everybody was using a swivel and make up a leader line, you know, and all that garb they had to try to keep, and I kept fooling with it, and finally I come up with a deal that where I didn't have but just one knot to tie on the hook. And what I found and come up with, here's a little piece of what I got left. Here's a rubber O-ring. And cut a little section of it off here and took a needle. And of course I had the drill press there at the house, but Brad, he used just a regular little hand drill and clamped the needle in there and spit on the hook, the needle or whatever you want to call it, and run that needles through that rubber.
Yeah.
And then I got me a little old screwdriver and drilled a hole in it, small hole. I could stick the needle up there in that hole on the thing, and then get a hold of it with the needle nose and pull it through there. Of course, I'd put my line through the eye of the needle, pulled me about 3-4 inches of line out there, and when I pulled that needle down through there, it pulled the line down through the rubber, and you ended up with a rubber piece on there like that. Of course, I put me a bead on there and stuff. And what I liked about it is not just having but one knot, but if you get any frays in your line, you just wet the line and then just slide that rubber wherever you want it. Cut your bad line off, retie you one knot, you're right back in business. Adjust your leader wherever you want it, whether you want it a 1 foot leader or a 4 foot leader. Just wet your line and slide your rubber there, and then you little bead there, and your sinker come down on it. And you didn't have that one knot. You didn't have 3 knots to tie.
Yeah.
And it made it so much faster and easier to fish that Carolina rig. And that's what I come up with on it. And it seems to work pretty good. I've caught a heck of a lot of fish on it. Like that. Like I say, it cut out a lot of that swivels and 3 knots and stuff. Instead, you just had one. It's pretty quick about changing out or whatever if you wanted to. But them guys up there that was fishing that, they was fishing just a watermelon brush hog on there. And was catching them smallmouth one right after the other up there. And, I'm sure out here right now, you probably still catch them on Carolina rig.
Yeah, I don't doubt that a bit. I mean, I remember, when we were back in the day fishing them tournaments, man, it busted, it come out, and them guys was just catching 18, 20-pound bags, and some of them were 25-pound bags.
Yes, sir.
On that dang Carolina rig.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it was, it's just like everything else. It seems like it runs in cycles, and it just, just got hot there, and it was just, one of them deals. The same way with that, what was that bait we was fishing up there at Cherokee and
The creepy crawler?
yeah, the creepy crawler.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. How this thing had hit the water and then all of a sudden, man, it went away.
Yeah, it went away.
I mean, you fished it down at Watts Bar, and we fished it up at Cherokee, and I fished it on Norris, and Baxter Underwood and I went up there one night, and I said, now listen, we're going to fish this creepy crawler. And I said, we're going to see what the deal is here. And we caught a bunch of fish that night, and so, yeah, we went on there for a few months, and then into the next summer, but it just, like everything else, I don't know if we quit it or it quit us. But
Well, partly both, but the main thing was it was different colors of baits that we had there to start off with, everybody was hot on that pumpkin seed. Pumpkin seed this, pumpkin seed that.
yeah,
And then all of a sudden it's green pumpkin. And then they changed over again to that clear looking one with the pink shade to it. I forget what they call that now. But then it was a red one. It seemed like every time they'd come out with a new color, it would be the hot thing to be a throwing. It's like that purple one, Bill Hart one up there at Douglas. He was throwing that creepy crawler in a purple looking one, And I don't know whether it was changing the type of bait we was using or just the color or something that they hadn't ever seen before.
Well, I've still got a bunch of them in the plastic bag back there.
Oh, Lord,
laying
yeah.
on the shelf.
Yeah.
I know you have too.
Yeah.
They're there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Got a whole lot of crankbaits that I bought over the years too.
yeah.
That go down, seemed like it'd catch the devil out of them, and then all of a sudden you couldn't get a strike on them. And keep going back and throwing them, and still can't find a fish on them.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, Mike. There's something going on with that business.
Yeah.
I mean, but they do. They just get, you're catching the fool out of them, and then next thing you know, you can't get a bite on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it changes. I don't know, from year to year at times, and then other times, it just hits a peak, and then the next year it's not near as good as it was the year before, and then next thing you know, the year before that it's not as good, and you quit fishing it.
Old Fritz there, when he was fishing the Bassmasters, it was doing so good. And hollering, poles, plugs,
Yeah.
Well, that poles plug was a good one. But he was talking about how he would take that chartreuse job and hang it on the rear view mirror of his vehicle for a week or so there, and it would fade down. It wasn't as bright. It would sort of dull it down. And he said until it done that, he couldn't seem to catch a fish on it like he did before. Whenever he was using the bright chartreuse, he couldn't get no fish on that. But that thing get dulled down, and they start catching fish on it.
Yeah.
And what's the name talking about the buzz bait? Said he take the buzz bait and tie it on the antenna of his vehicle and drive it down the road 2 or 3 days and let it wire that thing down and get to squeaking real good.
Yeah.
And that's when he'd start catching fish on that buzz bait.
Right.
And some of them learned how to bend it down there, and then they
chatting.
finally come out with that dang flapper deal on there to make it clap. Or they had been bending them down and letting them hit the head or the wire or whatever to make that noise on it.
Mm-hmm.
Different than what it was, because everybody was throwing the same thing.
Yeah.
And we fished down there in Gunnersville with that rat. Couldn't get a dang strike on a rat, and turned around and put that toad on there and come across that dang grass with that toad, and it just knocked the fire out of that dang toad business, that ribbit and all that, making a different sound than what the buzz bait or something else made on there. The rat didn't really make no sound, but then what's the name I was talking about it, and he took them pieces of plastic worm and poked them through that little old hole in the back of them and make a rattle chamber in there, plus give it a little more weight to be able to throw it out there further.
Mm-hmm.
So, everybody tries little tricks to see if they can find something different. So,
Yeah.
you know when you pulled up to one of them points out there or something, and you see them streaks all over it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There's been 2 or 3 other boats that come in there and they didn't beat it to death,
Yeah. Well, when you seen a bunch of them rat tracks across the grass, or the frog tracks across the grass, and there wasn't no blow-up points, there wasn't no need to stay there.
No.
I mean, yeah, you're going down through there, and there's one of them dang tracks left about every 4 feet, and well, did they catch anything? No. Move on. Yeah, you just go sit down, crank up, and go on somewhere else.
Them places you pull up to, and there'd be a grass line there, be 2 or 3 miles long.
Yeah, I know. Sure would. Anyway, I'm looking forward to tomorrow night. I hope the weather works in their favor. We don't have to put up with no rain or anything like that, and we can.
Well, the good thing is the lakes went back down a little bit.
Yeah, it ain't went down much, but it's went down some, you
Yeah.
know, heck.
And, hopefully they
It's
get
still
at least
way up there as far as I'm
another
concerned.
foot out of it or something maybe, time we get back up there. But yeah, if they hadn't had all that big rain up in Kentucky and stuff, we'd probably been 10, 12 foot lower than what it is right now.
Yeah.
They've been generating quite hard.
Well, I know they have. Bill says they ain't quit since they opened the gates up. I mean, turned the generators on. It's just been running wide open.
Yeah.
But it's only down.
And again, you've had all that rain down south of us.
Yeah.
I don't know when they're going to hold off sending all that water down that way.
Like I said, I wish we'd get up there and had to back about 300 or 400 yards to get your boat in the water.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, then things will get right. Something I am going to try to do if everything works out tomorrow. I mean, you know, planning on going, I'm going to throw a spinner bait a time or two.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, heck, I just, used to go up there and have 2 reeling rods with 2 spinner baits on. That was it. And then a spinning rod with a little old higher fly on it. And most of the time, and now I go and I don't even have a spinner bait tied on nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So, got to try something different. See if we can get them to bite. But then, like I said, Bill and I, we had them 5 fish come in the boat, and them was, I had that fish on my bait, and I grabbed the dip net up and run it out there and under that fish, and I said, Bill, you got one too, ain't you? He said, yeah, I got something, son. And I said, well, bring him on in here. And I just mashed that button on my reel and give that thing a little slack, and I just run the dip net right there and got his fish with it. And it's a pretty nice smallmouth he had.
Yeah.
And so I said, now, Bill, I said, when we catch them 2 at a time like that, I said, we're getting closer to being where it needs to be. He said, you got that right. So that's, kind of what happened was the deal there. But, we put the 5 in the boat and missed, had several more on, 4, 5, 6 fish, all told probably. Bites that we had and had them hooked and it'd get off before we get them in.
Mm-hmm.
So, we did get some bites, and you said the night before you never got the first bite.
No. I was fishing the same thing you. So
Yeah. I just had a feeling that watermelon would be the color, or, and I don't know that it was bright enough, to tell you the dang truth about it.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we'll see what goes on, there tomorrow night, and see if we can get things rolling and get something started good. So, sure, it's shucks, I don't know. We're just gonna have to work on baits. Keep changing baits till we find the color they want the best.
Yep.
What's the moon phase? Did you see any crescent moon this morning or anything?
No, I didn't.
Okay. It's, the moon should be full this month, around the 15th, 16th, somewhere along in there. So it ought to be getting a little moon up,
Over evening. It's
Yeah.
dark. You'll see a little bit tonight, should be.
Yeah, I agree. We're just, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I just hope we don't get any rain to keep us from getting there, and let's go up there and see what we can come up with. It's 3 nights up there, we ought to be able to figure something out.
I think
If it takes dynamite, we'll have to round up some.
I think last I seen on it was supposed to start raining sometime Sunday.
Yeah, I did see that. Chances of showers are Sunday sometime. we just have to see what happens on that. But you know, I mean, I want to find out what the deal is. Are we going to have to fish steeper banks or long running points or some rock piles out in the middle or whatever it takes to figure them out? You know, 4, 5, 6 fish a trip is not what we're after. We're wanting into the teens and the 20s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, get on them and stay on them for sure. Without a doubt. Well, okay, we've just about run the gauntlet here. I was hoping somebody'd call in, but they must be watching the ball game, but
Yeah.
it should be halftime.
The last words I've had on watch bar was that some of them's catching some fish trolling, and I think was it Mike or one of them that called in and said that.
Said they
And,
catching some nice fish trolling down there with them little plugs for them crappie.
Yeah. And,
You know.
and then another guy said something about catching some 20-foot deep on minnows.
Yeah.
If you're out there under the lights, usually 20, 30 foot, that's usually about where they catch them crappie down there,
Mm-hmm.
which according to the dang thermocline, that's about the same depth as north is. That thermocline running that 25, 30 foot line, and I'm sure watch bar will be about the same way.
Yeah.
And that's probably about where the crappie and the stripe and all that stuff's at right now. I don't know. How many
Well,
people-
them running the water, you know it's going to be a little cooler down there than that 20, 25, 30 foot of water than it is up there in that 10 foot and at 80-something degrees.
Yeah.
So that makes good sense. And, you know, heck, they all, but that's what whoever that was last week told us that it was that they were catching some good crappie down there, trolling them little old plugs, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You just keep letting it out back there to adjust your speed, and once you start bumping the bottom with it, you just crank it up a time or two and creep out through there,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and it will work. Too many people does it, you know. So something to think about for sure.
I've not heard anything on any of the other lakes, Cherokee or Douglas or Chickamauga or any of them. I ain't heard nobody say anything, but I'm sure that a lot of them fishing the dang grass down there.
Yeah, and that one old boy there that you hadn't worked with him much, but he's from down there on the Hiwassee, and he was the one that's telling me there the other week. He, you know, made that cast out there in the grass and come winding it in there and had one about 4 pounds blow up on it, and he missed it and said throwed right back, and then the next bite he got was one about 6 or 7 pounds, and he said I throwed the third time and said I swear, said, I believe that fish weighed 8 or 9 pounds. He said, I mean, it would look like a giant out there, and it got off too, he said. So
Batting average about like hers. Isn't it?
yeah, his average ratio to cast per catch is really poor, just like ours has been.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of deal right there. All right. Jeff Parrott, I bet you're watching the ball game. Ed Galt, I know he is. Ray Bryant, I just about guarantee you he's watching the ball game. And it may be halftime, so I guess that's why they're showing all the highlights from everybody else playing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got about 5 minutes, Mike. What's the deal with that fishing rod and reel?
Well, this is a custom-made rod that I won in a tournament, and Paul Rogers made it. And just so happens, I was over on Loudon fishing a tournament and had a big fish hung up in a brush pile and stuck the rod down there to try to get him loose, and he jerked it and broke the tip off of it. and I put another tip on it. And I got it as a flipping stick, and it took about 4 or 5 inches off of it, and I went ahead and put another tip on it, and it turned out to be one heck of a Carolina rig rod. Yeah, real rod and reel there for Carolina rig. Sure is.
Yeah.
I fished a lot of Carolina rigs on a lot of different rods, and this is probably the best one that I've got. Real sensitive and everything. Been a real good rod. It's a G. Loomis blank. I'm not sure whether they can even get G. Loomis blanks anymore. Last I heard that they wasn't selling no blanks to nobody but the big rod builders, you know, and stuff. So I don't know whether Paul can get any more of them or not.
Yeah.
There's a lot of custom rod builders around.
Oh yeah, that made me remember. There's a tournament going out of Ladd's Landing Saturday morning.
Yeah, you had a brochure on some tournament.
No, I see. Who was it telling me there? One of them boys at work said he was going to go down there and fish it. $15 a person, so that's $30 a boat, 2 of you in the boat, at Ladd's Landing our Saturday morning. I think they're going to be out at 6 o'clock and back in at 1 or 2 before it got real hot, somewhere along in there. So just wanted to pass that along. Just happened to remember it. I told him I'd mention it there tonight, and I just about forgot it. So,
Yeah.
son of a gun.
Reckon you could stay up all night and all day too like you used to?
Well, it all depends on how good they're biting, Mike. If they're biting pretty good, yeah, I won't have a bit of problem.
Yeah, back when we was young and full of vinegar, we
Yeah.
pulled a bunch of them.
You ain't kidding. I mean, sure did. And
Yeah.
I hate to tell this on the TV, Mike used to lay down in the boat, and I'd drive us home. Yeah. And then the next night, he'd lay down in the boat on the way up there to the lake.
Yeah, we'd quit about 4 o'clock, time to get to watch bar.
Yeah. Yeah. Shucks. Sure, I mean, yeah, we've done some crazy things. I sure have. Yeah, him laying back there in the bottom of the boat, sleeping like nothing, nobody's business.
Yeah.
Me up there driving us home.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell this right quick.
You better hurry. You ain't got but a minute.
I know we got up there getting everything ready. Of course, you know, I was having that problem out of the motor, making that noise back there, so it's been unhooking the cable off the battery. I got everything ready, turned the trolling motor on, everything went back there, hooking the cables up, and evidently I must have took that, jarred that connection for the one that feeds the trolling motor. And once I broke that connection, it turned the trolling motor back off. And I went up there and put the boat in the water and stepped out of the truck, turned the remote on, and
Nothing.
wouldn't work. Because the trolling motor was cut off. Yeah.
So you fooled around how many hours before you got
It
it?
was about an hour and a half, I guess it was. We sat there letting the waves wash the boat around a little bit, and then finally I went up there digging through the truck and had some of them ratchet tie downs and put 3 or 4 of them together and throwed it out there into the boat, and finally got a hold of the thing under the bottom of the seat there on the driver's side, and they eased the boat back over to us. And sure enough, when I looked right there, the light was off, the trolling motor was turned off. As soon as I touched the button, it turned right on, the remote worked and everything. I said, yeah, next time I'll remember to make sure that thing's turned on before I put it in the water.
So you dumped your boat off,
Yeah,
and the trolling motor not on, so
Yeah.
your
remote, no link.
pod here.
Yeah, the
couldn't-
remote control didn't have no link. It kept writing up no link.
Boy, you'd been up the creek if that wind been blowing across towards
Yeah.
Big Ridge, wouldn't you?
Yeah. got ready to go swimming after it,
Yeah. No lights on, people running around. It'd been a collision.
Well, the lights was on the
You had
road.
okay. Well, that's good to
Lights
hear.
was on, but,
That's good. That's good to hear there, because that could have been a bad situation,
yeah.
for sure,
Yeah,
without a doubt.
I looked there at it. I thought, well, the battery's dead on the remote, but then I seen it wasn't no link to the trolling motor, and I said, well, it ain't turned on.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Son of a gun. Well, all right, folks. Listen, we're going to get out of here. Hopefully, we'll have some, couple of good trips here this weekend. We need a good break, and sure, he's got the yard mowed. I do got to do a little weed eating sometime this weekend, and I don't want to get up and be aggravated, so hopefully she'll let me sleep. Yeah. But anyway, if the weather cooperate, we hope to have a good weekend of catching some fish up there.
Yeah, won't be because we ain't up there throwing at them.
You can't catch them home laying on the couch. And it just won't happen. We've done that many a time, never got a bite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
All right. Hey, God bless you all. Have a good, safe weekend. Enjoy the Labor Day celebrations, and we'll hope to see you back here next week. Hey, folks, here at Tim's Tires, there's the times that they're open. The day, that's 5 days a week. They're open from 8 to 12:30 on Saturdays. All right, folks, we're inside here in the warehouse. Just wanted to give you a quick look at all the tires and stuff they got. And here we are. There's some four-wheeler tires, lawnmower tires, just a mixture of about any kind of tire you want. So keep that in mind. Then here we get into the light truck, automobiles, that kind of thing. So just walk through here and give you quick look at what they've got in stock here. I mean, it's it's just, I don't know, man. They must be a couple of thousand tires in here right now, if not more. Sizes, shapes. You truckers, you know the word. This is the place to get your tires to your trucks. And these over here, getting a little bigger sizes, light trucks, heavier automobiles, this kind of thing. And as you can just see back through there, it's just, heck, I don't know, this building's probably about 300 feet, one end to the other, and they're wall to wall. Remember Tim's Tires, folks. That's down here on Highway 27 on your way into Harriman, and get the best deals they're going. So give them a call, price check, whatever you want to, and if you want a special tire that they might not have, you could, they'll definitely get it for you. Tim's Tires. Let people know what we represent.
That's what we're all about. We do try to do an honest day's work for the people, and we've got operators from all over the DOE sites, TDA sites, the outside contractors. We're just about everywhere you see a heavy piece of equipment, good chance that you'll see an operating engineer on it, whether it be Barnhard, I'd like to mention them, All Crane, and all of them